And welcome to yet another edition of 3 Minutes mini-series versions. This is answering a question that was submitted to Anonymous GM, I think, and then sent on to me. I can't exactly remember how it got to me, but it was a question about rebuilds, which is very, very interesting. So let's take a look at a couple of rebuilds that are currently going on across the league. Which ones are working, which ones aren't. Give us a second. If they wanted to join live, that would be great. I have time for questions probably as well. You might have a subscription in first place in the AL Central by 5 games ahead of the Minnesota Twins. I think the presumptive favorites are going into this thing. And a lot of that has to do with a rebuild that is not your traditional rebuild style. Significantly, the players they brought in this past offseason. And I wanted to read a couple of things for you because it's interesting to look at how big an impact, son of a bitch. All right, maybe I'm back. I don't know. I hope this thing is all one coherent stream, but it told me my internet was unstable, so it cut out. But we'll just keep going and hope that this thing works out. So the players that they brought in this offseason that we can take a look at here is Nick Williams, Rodrigo Espinosa, Barnum, Suzuki, the shortstop. And you got Strauss, who brought in over the offseason, or I guess technically, yeah. And then Miguel Pineda. As of 2 days ago, those players added up for a combined 6.4 WAR. Right? I know it's not a perfect statistic, but it is very interesting to look at that level of production this early in the season out of new players, right? If you take that stat very, that's 6.5 wins, right? 6.5 wins that they wouldn't have had in theory. I know that's not how the stat works, but it's interesting to look at it that way. And if you take those away, they're actually second place, right? So I am incredibly impressed by the pieces that they have brought in. Williams has been on fire at the top of this lineup. You look at Rodrigo Espinosa, has hit 15 home runs already this season. Keon Barnum just won Player of the Month after the American League. 356, 7 home runs, 23 RBIs. Suzuki at the bottom here, hitting 317 with 15 RBIs. Strasburg has been everything you would want and more out of an ace at the top of this rotation. The one that's struggling is Miguel Pineda, who seems to have been wrecked by that injury that plagued him all last season and took him out, and he does not seem to be the right person that's coming back. So if you want to look at the Indians' rebuild, this rebuild is working. This team is legit, and they're a legitimate American League potential competitor, right? They can go on and win a World Series here. I think top to bottom, this is interesting. Now, places they can improve, right? You could obviously grab another starter. I think if 1, 2, 3, it's Strauss, Roz, Swift, and Stevens, well, seems to struggle a little bit, is fantastic. Man, I think I got Malinowski back to the lineup. It helps a lot. I don't think you're going to get the same production out of Rosado. And like I said, clearly Miguel Pineda is done. So I think if you're the Indians, you want to go out and get another starting pitcher. While it's think about Kobe Allard in this rotation, specifically because he's a left-hander and all of their arms are right-handed. He ain't coming to They don't have the pieces for it, right? So how do they go out and get another piece? So this one that is not, to bounce to the other side, the Chicago White Sox, same division, 15 and 20. I feel like we've told this story before. Jonathan Hodges, one of the favorite GMs, has tried time and time again to go into rebuild mode, only to exit it very quickly and flip the prospects he's acquired for pieces. And if you look at where they're sitting right now, 15 and 20, 8.5 games back of the division-leading Cleveland Indians. This is clearly not working. Now, we're still early. But Bill Black has been atrocious at the top of this division, or top of this rotation. 0-6 with 7 ERA. Josh Johnson was brought in, has been atrocious, 6 ERA. Kyle Cody has not been atrocious, but has not been good. So the 4-man rotation of Black, Johnson, Wallace, and Cody has not worked out, right? So you look at that coupled with the fact that the bullpen, which is supposed to be doing most of the heavy lifting, is also not working. The fact that you have guys like William Walker and Dean Cromwell that potentially could come up here and fill in, but they're not exactly lighting the world fire down in AAA either. You're starting to get concerned about the arms in Chicago. Where does the production come on the mound into the bullpen? Then you look at their acquisitions in the lineup. Gary Sanchez hitting .239 with 0 home runs. 0 through 35 games. That is literally the only thing this dude brings to the table here is hitting the ball out of the park, and he's yet to do it on the year. I don't understand how you look at that and are satisfied. Billy Hamilton has, for some reason, hit 320 and driven 18 RBIs. That's unsustainable beyond belief, right? But Esteban Hernandez, another guy they brought in, driving the ball in, he is driving people home, but he's getting 227. So does the RBI production and that average, with that risk, does that really maintain here at the pace he's on, given the fact he's only hitting 227? There's no way. So two of these big pieces they brought in this year, Esteban Hernandez and Gary Sanchez, you can't be happy with the production they're getting here. Couple that again with Josh Johnson not doing well. They're ace. Okay, whatever. It says unstable again. I'm just hoping it's picking everything up. You've seen John Hodges pull the plug early at times, right? So let's see if he can hang in here and if this team can turn it around. So that's working, not working, same division, not intentional. Second team that's working, Arizona Diamondbacks. Not a surprise to anyone. They have taken the long way here, right? We know what they've been going through over the last decade that they've been in this division, in this league, right? They were good early on, but we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight years of losing records. 5 straight years of finishing 5th or 4th. Now last year they were 4th with 68 wins. That's not the normal division, but they're in first place right now. 21-13, leading the division. All of these players are players, more or less, that they brought through the system. Ohtani was a signing last year. Obviously, Daz Cameron was brought in when they flipped. They got him from Seattle when they big trade a couple of years ago. Scott Clark has been masterful at the top of the division. Shohei Ohtani has been spectacular on the mound. Salazar has been great on the mound. Morales has been passable. Jared Parker's the one that struggled at the bottom here, and there are rumors that he is exiting this team, probably to make room for Jeffrey Stone, who is the superstar starting pitcher and prospect down in AAA, who is lighting the world on fire, and this kid's going to be special when it comes out. So you got to figure Jared Parker is going to be leaving this rotation, and in comes Jeffrey Stone to add to what is already a spectacular team here. I'm about the Arizona Diamondbacks. I wrote a piece earlier this year that talked about them being a competitor in the National League West. I think they can win this thing. I really do. As good as Colorado is, and don't get me wrong, Colorado is still the favorite here. Arizona's got the pieces to make this thing interesting and make a run. So the Diamondbacks, and by the way, and also that's kind of leaving out the fact that they told Vlad Guerrero to come up here. Now Joey Galvez played great at third base. Where did Guerrero go? He's fine. They're fine, Megan. He's. This is not work related. You've got Juan Marin coming up here. He's not going to come up, I don't think, this year, but Vlad Guerrero, if he can pick it up a little bit, hitting 100 at AAA, he's more talented than that, but will be up in this year as well. So you've got two big pieces coming up to bolster an already spectacular team and a good roster. The Diamondbacks rebuild is working. And they've got Bo Bauer, Adley Rutschman, Cole Brannon, all down in single A that are coming up in a couple of years. So they've got room to move on from some of these other pieces that are good, but maybe not long-term good. Leave Michael. I don't know if you really want him being your second baseman of the future, right? On a championship team. So there's some pieces here to improve, but I really like what the Diamondbacks are. They are an interesting piece. I'd love to see them go out and get somebody. I don't know if they want to pay up for Cole necessarily, but it'd be interesting to see them go out and get somebody like a Greg Bird. I do like Matt Hansen. It'd be interesting to see them go get somebody like Cam Gallagher. It'd be interesting to go get somebody that's out there from one of these mid-level or rebuilding teams that still have pieces to flip and go all in. I think the Diamondbacks have a legit shot to make some noise in the playoffs this year. Flip this back, somebody who is, again, currently not working, and it goes back to the American League, and I think we're going to look at the Houston Astros. The Astros currently sit 16-20, fourth in the division, 10 games back to Seattle, in a division with two monster teams. You're staring up at some terrifying stuff. There are very good pieces here in Houston, and I think they're young enough to compete for a couple of years. But the question was asked, did they miss their window? Did they pick their window wrong? And I don't know the answer to that question. I think Seattle's still got 3, 4, 5 years of their competitive team right now left in them. Now, Justin Kaiser has toyed with the idea of rebuilding even during the midst of a great and very, very successful season. So we'll see what goes on with Seattle. I think Matt is here for the long haul at the top with the Angels. Jason and Oakland are on the way up. Texas can never really be counted out. I don't think they missed their window. I think what you're looking at right now is a lack of luck. Right? They are getting on base fine. They're hitting the ball out of the park fine. They're just getting unlucky with when they hit home runs and when they get the big hits. I think you start looking at people like Arredondo, Jose Gonzalez, 10 home runs with 14 RBIs. Richard Fowler, 4 home runs, 9 RBIs. Martinez, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs. Jake Wale, 4 home runs, 9 RBIs. They're just getting unlucky when they hit the ball. Couple that with the fact that some of their pitchers are struggling more than they should. Melvin Garner is not going to have a 7.71 ERA throughout the entire season. Dave Groves and Will Rainey are probably going to hover below that 4 mark as opposed to above it. And then you look at guys like Fernando Tatis with the ability to come up and help out this year. Juan Villa is finally looking like he's ready to make his major league debut. And I really think we've got the makings of a team here that can make a push at some point during this window. 2020 ain't their year, right? So I would look at them to possibly be a seller here for somebody in this lineup. I don't really know who it is because they're all still very young. 25, maybe Bill L.A., like Bill Law, he's 28, but still 28 ain't bad. The rest of these guys are only 24, 25 years old tops. Like, so you've got 3 or 4 more years of this exact roster gelling, playing together, maybe adding a piece here and there. Maybe adding a right-handed arm to the rotation. This is the only rotation I've seen that is this heavy lefty. Atlanta is going 3 lefties right now. This is 4 left-handed arms. It's struggling. So I think you have a case of bad luck in Houston that we see turn around as this season continues and gets a little older. And while the rebuild's not working right now, this is kind of one of those tricky ones because it will be working very soon. So that has been, I cut it to 12 minutes. I thought this was going to go really long. 12 minutes on 4 rebuilds, 2 that are working, 2 that aren't currently. Thanks for joining. Really hope this whole thing recorded, and it's going to post up here the thing in just a second.